first things I'm gonna do when I do this generator maintenance is grab my bag of books. For those of you that have an RV, you know you're gonna have a huge bag of books. That's the first thing you wanna do is find your generator book and figure out how much oil you need, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so today we're going to do a generator maintenance, mainly oil change, air filter change, and fuel filter change. So I have the Cummins Onan. Mine is this one here, HDKAKN. Grab your owner's manual. Go to the maintenance section here to tell you exactly how to change the oil, maintain the battery, replace the air filter. We're going to do that, and then make sure you get all the parts. So you need your oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, and then a tool to take those all off. And then we're going to go down and basically follow the procedures here. But super important, grab your manual. That's always helpful. The internet helps, YouTube helps. And make sure you have your parts, and don't forget your oil. It looks like mine holds 3 quarts. So figure out how much oil your generator holds, and make sure you have that too before you start. Okay, so I'm underneath here now, and you can see right there is what we got to get off. So the first thing you have to get is the oil drain plug off. This one's on pretty tight, so I put a little bit of WD-40 on there to get it off. So this is the first thing you got to get off. Take off the drain plug. This is where you're going to empty your oil into a nice pan like this. Alright, so I'm back under here again. So the hardest part for me so far has been to get this off. So it's a 3/8 on my generator, and I just now got it off. I got a larger socket wrench, and that's how I was able to twist it off. I also like to put these little directions on here. It tells me which way to take it off, so I know next time it's not such a pain. But it looks like it's starting to come loose now. So here's my drain plug. I should have it off in a minute. You have your drain down here, so when you take this off, it's going to come out. So be sure you have a rag and your pan down here, otherwise you're going to have a mess. Okay, so I got it loose, and now I'm just going to hand loosen it, and then make sure you have your rags over here because it's going to make a mess. So as soon as you pull that out, it's going to dump it into here. You can see I really cleaned up the plug. It looks great, and this is still draining, so just let it drain. It may take a while, but be patient, and then we're going to put the plug back on. And you can see there's a little bit still coming out there. Just be patient. Make sure you can take your oil to, I usually take it to the local gas station or recycle center, and they will recycle this oil. Don't dump it on the ground or anything like that. Alright, so once that stops dripping like that, I'm going to go ahead and put your plug back on. Just stick it up in there, tighten it up, make sure you have some rags. Your hands are going to get dirty. So now you need to snug that back up with your tool, and then wipe off all the oil, because we're going to check that later to make sure it's not leaking. And now you can get rid of your oil. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to open up this little door here and do your oil filter and fuel filter. Okay, now that we got the oil part done, we're gonna go over here and do the filters. They are in here. So you have your fuel filter in here and your oil filter. So what you do is you go up here, you squeeze these two pieces together like this. This door will drop down. You can see in there, there's your oil filter and your fuel filter. And we're going to change both of those. The only little tricky piece is this piece here. You got to have that little tool to get in there. Other than that, you should be fine. So let's do the oil filter first. Here's your new oil filter. This is the one we're going to put on. You always want to make sure you put a little bit of oil on this ring right here. So put some oil in there so it goes on there. And I always mark the way it comes off, so I remember the way this thing comes off. Okay, you can look up in here. You can see that I have the oil filter loose. It's hand loose now. And I'm going to take that off and replace it. And then we're going to do the fuel filter. So be ready when you loosen that that oil filter. It's got oil in it, so make sure you have your pan down here. It's going to drip just like your other one did. So let that drip. And as soon as that's done, we'll put the other one in. Which is in the box right here. So let that drip. Doesn't take very long. This one only takes maybe a minute. The other one takes about 10 minutes. Okay, so you use your filter wrench. You stick it on there. And then you tighten it up. And then you wipe off all the oil. Really simple to do. Can't really video me doing it with the wrench, but you put this on there and you tighten it up. So now we've got the your oil filter on. One last piece down here. We're gonna do the air filter. So we take off this bolt here, and then we'll take off this piece. We'll slip out the fuel filter here, and then we'll put the new one on. Okay, first thing you're going to do is take this screw out here so you can remove your fuel filter. So it's got this funky little hex wrench. So you get that loosened up. And then you can drop down your fuel filter here. I'm a fan of ratchets for this kind of work for sure. Alright, once you get it loose enough, you should be able to hand loosen it. And then we'll pull that down. And then we'll take off the clamps on each side and then replace it. So we check our new part, you can see. It looks just like the old part. So it's going to go on just like that. And it tells you here which way it should go, which way the fuel should go. You can read that. It's pretty easy to put on. You just put those little clamps on each side and just make sure it goes this way. Just like that one there. It fits right in there. So we're going to do that next. So here's what it looks like once you get it down. You pull it down out of there. You pull down the harness. Don't take it off. 'Cause I did this before and you have to reshape it. That sucks. So don't take it off. Just pull it down. Now we're going to undo this clamp. And this clamp, all you need is a screwdriver. And then we're going to put the new fuel filter in. All you want to do too is make sure these little pads go towards the back. So you can see there's our oil filter. Now we're doing the fuel filter. And so I changed the old one. Now I'm going to tilt that around so those pads are on the back. And then I'm going to tighten up each one of these. Close the door. Then I'm going to put the oil back in. Alright, as you can see now, I just mounted that back in there. Sorry, it's very tough for me to use the tool and video, but basically I just screwed that back in there. Then we're going to put the new fuel filter in. So we're going to do the fuel filter first. Okay, so you use your filter wrench. You stick it on there. You pull down the harness. Don't take it off. Just pull it down out of there. And then we're going to Make sure these are tight. That's tight. So now we're gonna go fill it up, and then we're gonna leave this open. You're not supposed to leave this open while you're running it, but we want to check for leaks. So I'm gonna make sure your drain plug is tight. We're gonna check for leaks there, and we're gonna check for leaks on your fuel lines, and then we're gonna check for leaks up here around the fuel filter. All right, let's go fill her up. Here's the last piece you're gonna do. This is your air filter. You can see it sits right up here in the front. It's pretty simple to do. Just undo that little nut there, and then put in your new part, and then you're all done. Take all this apart, you can see. Take the case off, the nut, we'll put the new one on. You just take this little piece here off. You can see this metal piece comes off. Take this little wing nut off. Take the old one off. You can see this one is pretty dirty versus the new one. You can see there's just a little ring there that it goes on, just like in any small engine. All right, so that is the final piece. You just swap out the air filter in there, similar to this one here. It's got these little screws just like a lawnmower. Make sure you get all your parts in advance. Now we're gonna fill her up, check it for leaks. Okay everyone, you can see I'm a mess, I'm pretty dirty. So the job is done, and I put the oil back in. So right now I'm about ready to fire it up to see if we have any leaks. That's your next step. So you want to put the oil back in. Obviously don't forget to put the oil back in, and then check for leaks, fire it up. I always put a little less than I need. It's a lot easier to add oil than it is to take it back out. So I'm gonna try this out and see how it works.